Hello, here is your astrology chart with a brief explanation of what we're looking at here. So this is basically a map of the sky the moment you were born, this here on the center wheel. So you basically would just put this over your head and imagine that this is a map, exactly where everybody was. The sun and Juno, Mercury, Pluto, just the things that I work with, the certain planets. It's not all of the map of the sky, but just the certain things that I work with. And this is you, this little X, and this is Earth. So we're looking at this map of the sky from the Earth's perspective, and each of these symbols represent a planet, and each of those planets carry a certain vibration or an archetypal vibration, an energy that we can relate to. And so the placement of the planets and the way that they relate to each other, which is called an aspect, gives us clues about certain aspects of you and of your life, your character. And then the next piece, which is what I want to talk about today in your reading, is this outer wheel. This is a map of the sky right now, at this moment. So this is where we get the timings from. We get to see what is hitting the sky in the certain part. So your birthday was yesterday. The sun was here when you were born. And then in the sky, the sun, this is called a transit. So it hits your natal sun. The moon hitting your Mercury. So that doesn't really mean anything until you get this big picture and start to plug in the meanings to the different planets and the different signs, and fit it into your own storyline. So astrology is a really, really useful tool for understanding yourself. There's certain things, like I can see on your chart, that has to do with your relationship material, the relationship to your own goddess, your own inner feminine, and the way that you relate to men or the masculine energy. That shows up instantly, and I'll talk about that. Then the other thing is certain life events. So we can go back in, memories from our life, pull up the moment of that day or that time frame and see where the planets were and find out what cycle you were in. So if you're in a Pluto cycle, that has a certain meaning, and the Saturn cycle has a certain meaning. And then that helps to integrate certain life material. That integrating it means it sort of starts to make sense, and you can understand more about what you were learning, what you did learn, and fit it in to different places. Or, sometimes I think the life material things, they're in those places. And then when you can use the astrology chart as a tool, it actually helps to liberate that energy that we've tucked away in different places in our physical body, in our psyche, in our mental, emotional mechanisms. And then you get the reading or look at the chart, and using the tools from astrology literally pokes those places. So when I talk about the astrological timings going back in time at certain memories in people's lives, it brings all that stuff up. And then looking at it with this tool, there's ways to integrate it so that it's not just tucked away, living somewhere, that it actually has a place in the wheel of you. So that's just a brief explanation of why astrology, what is it for, how can we use it. So with your chart, we're going to start by looking at the lineage. The lineage is the moon and the south node. I'm just going to keep it to moon for today because this is really, I want it to be basic beginning astrology, because I feel like the more detailed you get, it can become more confusing. And then when something is confusing, a lot of people will just throw it away and think it, you can find the use. Leo moon, this is something that you already mastered, naturally born with, you know, a big personality, showing up big on the center stage of life. A lot of people with Leo moons that I've been finding in the last year or so, women in particular, have been saying that they didn't feel honored for their moon. So Leo moon is meant to be bright and shiny. So they, if you know, I know you have sisters. I don't know if you have any brothers. I just know your sisters. But in your family, you would have been the one who's always standing out, who, even if you don't try, it's just a natural thing. It's like the peacock within you know, a bunch of chickens. The peacock is the one that shows out. And Leo moon is the peacock. It's passionate. There's this whole, the loyal heart thing comes up, but I don't put that loyal heart, like the typical astrology sun sign is different than what I'm working with here, because what sun sign astrology is doing is basically taking a little bit from the sign before Leo and the sign after Leo, or before and after, and mushing it all together. So the loyal heart thing, I think, sort of comes from a combination of Cancer and Virgo and Leo. Not saying that, you know, somebody with a Leo moon doesn't have a loyal heart, but just starting to break away from the bumper stickers, because Leo moon really cares about itself. It mostly cares about itself. It's royalty. It's like the king and queen, who are magnificent, fabulous, bright, shiny. When they walk in, everybody notices. The benefit of this, as I'm saying it, I'm like, I know a lot of people are like, want to be useful or something. Leo moon's value is in that it is, you know, okay, let's go back to like you, little girl, bright and shiny, like the attention ball hog in a way. That little girl is teaching us how to really embody herself. And you know, some people, that's a very hard thing to do, to be able to ask for what they want, say what they feel like saying, be the character, be the, you know, just, I'm thinking about, excuse me, somebody who's willing to show up on stage and be the actress. Like, not everybody wants to do that. So the value in a Leo moon is allowing those around her to also show up on their center stage. So when you're so bright and shiny and magnetic, other people around you feel inclined to also be magnetic. But what I've been finding with talking to people, I wouldn't say counseling, but when I give readings and the feedback that I get, a lot of people are saying that they didn't feel like they were able to fully shine and show up on the center stage of their life. And I think that has something to do with the way we raise girls. And that big personality maybe got shut down. So just check in with yourself on that and see how much do you feel connected to Leo moon. The moon position is something that you were naturally good at when you were born. Your parents would have noticed this about you. And that when stuff gets hard in life, you can do those moon traits and it will bring you peace, make you feel comfortable. It's like when you get too stressed out, going to being bright and shiny on the center stage, or however it is that you are full of yourself. Leo moon gets a lot of times called a narcissist or being self-centered, all of these kind of things. So I love working with Leo overall as an energy, because I think that being self-centered is good. And when you're able to do that, if that, especially if it's your moon position, that's your natural inclination, more power to that, because a lot of women we were all raised in a certain type of way, and that saying like don't be so full of yourself, don't shine so bright, don't make too much noise, all those things, exactly opposite to what a Leo moon person needs to be hearing. And it doesn't matter, because that will be the natural feeling for somebody with a Leo moon. So the next thing is the rising sign. The rising sign tells about what you're here to learn about, what you're here to master. So if you've already mastered Leo moon, number one thing, if you haven't mastered Leo moon, people will sometimes try to go into their Venus or go into their Mars and do things that are, it's in your chart, it's in your personality to do these other things, but really, really want to honor the moon. So if you feel disconnected from that piece of yourself, there's a whole, I have a really good article that's a workbook material thing that you can grab it, download it, and do the questions, and there's a little integration exercise so that you can reclaim that part of yourself, the moon position. So when you do that, if you haven't already, the next thing is we want to learn how to do the rising sign. For you, you have rising in Sagittarius, which is learning how to be the way shower. Sagittarius rising, let's talk about the polarity first. So Sagittarius rising wants to grow, evolve, learn everything, go everywhere. It's like the expeditionist who is going on an expedition to search out new land, find new territory. It's like the uncharted things. They want to go and explore. And the reason for that is evolution. And their evolution, it's like evolving themselves so that the rest of the world can evolve. The one green forest, the green tree in a forest makes the whole forest greener. That's sort of the idea for Sagittarius rising. It's like they are going and questing, and they're on this mission for expansion and evolution. But it is the same thing with the Leo moon. It's like when you are full of yourself, those around you are invited by magnetism to be full of themselves also. So when you are evolving and going on the quest for evolution and expansion, those around you are also invited to do the same thing. So I'm thinking about your Instagram page when you're always showing these things you're doing and cool stuff and meals that you're preparing, and people who are tuned into you are seeing that, and they're like, I guess I could cook at home more. That looks cool. Or I wonder, she's trying this yoga and meditation things. I don't know about the meditation part, but the yoga part, that in itself is amazing, because that group of people you're connected to see that, and that gives them the space to also expand. So that's the rising sign is what you want to be moving into, doing more of those things. That's like a school that you signed up for in this lifetime. I'm going way out of order, but I want to get one more piece of material to you, which is about your relationship. Let me just start off with this relationship axis. So the rising sign is where we investigate, who am I? The descendant is where we investigate, who are you? So this is how you're learning about yourself. This is how you're learning about your partner. So in relationship, this is the mirror where you're sitting at this seat and he's sitting over here like at dinner or something across the table, and you're looking at each other. So this whole mirroring effect. Gemini, this would tell me that you're attracted to guys who, well, first let's look at your Mars. It's in Scorpio. So you're attracted to this deep, intense, dark, mysterious, playful trickster. Super fun. This is like the most, what do they call? They say that girls like bad guys. And that's not true for everybody, but it's true for you. Because Scorpio is that mysterious, I think they say bad boys. and like musician, because Gemini's over there like a creative person who's maybe typical, not doing the typical 9 to 5. That's on your descendant. He's also on a quest, on a mission. He's traveling. He's interesting in the mind. And also because Mars is in Scorpio, he's sensual, sexuality, intensity, and passion. Putting all that together, so mixing together Scorpio and Gemini, that's your form of the masculine. Meaning that that's what you're attracted to because that's what is you. That's your expression of the God, the masculine energy. So the thing we got to do is own that, work with that from within ourselves so that I feel like I'm still attracted to my form of the masculine. It's a thing that I'm most attracted to in other people, in men particularly. It's a thing that I find most attractive. And the idea is to like recognize that, own it, and then start doing things using that piece of yourself. Meaning that you write, I'll give you the exercises, but basically you write a sort of list of things that this part of you likes, and then just start doing those things. So for you with Gemini and Scorpio, it might be yoga, exploring mysticism and altered states of consciousness, Scorpio, and then Gemini, traveling, going on trips, tapping into creative things you can do, technology, thinking, and see where you're at with that. The next piece is to integrate your inner feminine. I'm going through this so fast. It can be like this, and each of these pieces can also, we can go deeper and deeper into each piece, but I want to just give you this. Your Venus is in Scorpio also. So we mix Venus with the rising sign to get a good look at your form of the feminine. So she, again, Scorpio, mixed with Sagittarius. We call it alchemy, combining those two characteristics to find out your form of the feminine and ways that you can connect with that part of yourself also. Jupiter is going through the sign of Scorpio this year. It's something that I've been talking about a lot because it is one of my favorite topics, Scorpio energy as a whole. I really like this little quadrant here. Jupiter expands everything it goes over. So it's going to be hitting very important North Node, one of the most important things in astrology actually for life purpose and destiny reasons. We look at that. Your Mars, so you're going to be having a sort of expansion and evolution on the way you relate to the masculine. Uranus, the way that you changes, the way that you change, the way that you experience changes. Jupiter hitting Uranus this year for you might bring unexpected changes in your life. And then Jupiter will hit your Venus, so the way that you relate to the feminine. So as we're going through this Jupiter transit, Jupiter takes 1 year to transit. All these planets that go around have a different cycle that, it takes them a different amount of time to go around the way that we perceive time anyway, for them to go around the Earth, or from our perspective on Earth. They take different times. So Jupiter is going to be a year. So this year, for you, those points that I mentioned, North Node, Mars, Uranus, and Venus, these are going to be areas of expansion and evolution happening. Okay, so that was probably about, I should have talked for 30 minutes and it's only been 20, so I hope it made sense. Anything that I said that didn't make sense, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much. I love and adore everything you do, and I'm super happy to read this chart for you. So thank you very much, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.